Okay, guys, thanks for being here. This is the In the Constitution for Youth, and the title of this presentation is the Pledge of Allegiance. So we're going to start out by pledging allegiance to the flag. Okay, so we just stand up and join me in pledging allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Excellent. Okay. So we're going to talk today about some words. Okay, we're going to define some words and talk about what is all this stuff. Because hopefully every morning at school you stand and pledge allegiance. Sometimes we just say these words and we go, I don't know what I just said, but I did it, and now let's move on to the rest of our day. Let's talk about one of the first words here. What's the word pledge mean? What do you think the word pledge means? Emma?
I think it means to promise.
Promise? Good. Any other words? That's a pretty close one. I mean, that's what I would guess. That's what I would say. Pledge means to promise. What else does it mean? Does it maybe mean to commit yourself? When you pledge something, you commit, you promise, okay? So when you pledge allegiance, there's an even bigger word. What in the world does allegiance mean? What do you think? Any ideas? No guesses? What about the idea of maybe being loyal? Is that allegiance? You're being loyal to something, you're committed to support or defend something. Okay, so when you pledge allegiance, you're promising loyalty. Now let's work through the words again. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Okay, so you're saying, I promise loyalty to this piece of fabric that's blue and white and red. Is that what you're saying? I'm loyal to this piece of fabric. No, that's not what you're saying, really, is it? Because let's keep going. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic. So your loyalty, your promise of loyalty is to what? The republic. That brings us to another word that's like, what does that mean? What does republic mean, okay? I have a slide here that says republic means rule of law. Okay? That's what a republic is. Now, we need to understand that because if we're actually making a promise, we're actually promising some loyalty to something, shouldn't we kind of know what a republic is? Because I don't know, how many of us know what a republic is? Well, I just told you, it's a rule of law, but what does that actually mean? We're going to have a little bit of an object lesson to teach that, okay? You ready? Ready to learn what a republic is? All right, so I need some volunteers, and I want to incentivize the volunteers, okay? Who likes Starburst here? Anyone like Starburst? Anybody at all? Really? Sam, you like Starburst? Come on up here, Sam. Do you like to look at them? What do you like to do with them? Do you like to eat them? Okay, come right up here. We're going to have Sam stand here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, look, this is my private property, but I'm going to give it to Sam. Now it's yours, bud. Is that all right? Does that work? Is that all right? Yeah, good. Okay, you stay here. You can't go anywhere. You got to be part of this object lesson for me. Now, who else likes Starburst? Let's pick Ben. He's a fairly tall guy. Brody, how about you too? Come on up here. Zach, did you raise your hand? Okay, come on up here, Zach. Now, I'm going to stand on this side of you guys, and you go over here. Now, these Starbursts belong to who? Sam. Yeah. But the one thing I said, what y'all have in common, what did Brody say? Height, right? You're all tall except for this little guy, okay? So in a republic, in the nation we live in, our American system of government, it's the rule of law. There's some laws that say that's his private property, you can't take it. But guess what? The majority of the world, they live under what's called dictatorship or a tyranny or a monarchy. Okay? Those are different words. Maybe you've heard of communism. And in those forms of government, the rule is not the rule of law. The rule is might is right. How does it sound to you three? Does that sound good? Might is right? If you can take that from them, it's yours. Sound good? Is that what you want? Yeah, come on, man. We live in a dictatorship. Okay, so we're going to say we're in a dictatorship. We're in a tyranny right now. And who here likes to be in charge? Who likes to be in control? You got brothers and sisters probably say, well, he does and he does. Who wants to be king for the day today? Brody, you look like a king. You kingly? Okay, Brody's our king. He's going to be our king. And you two, Ben and Zach, are going to be our henchmen. Okay, you know what a henchman is? They're just mean brutes, right? They just go around and do whatever the king tells them to. So king, since might is right and you want those Starbursts, what are you going to tell your henchmen to do?
Go get the Starbursts.
Say it in an authoritative voice.
Go get the Starbursts.
Go for it.
Done.
Oh, you didn't even, wait, let's try that again. These are yours. Don't let them take them. Okay, grab hard. Hold on to them. Hold on to them. Hold on to them, Sam. Come on. Ooh, we broke them. Oh, no. Hold on, Sam. You got it, Sam. Hold on. Come on, Sam. Fight for him. Come on, henchman. Oh, there's still some more here. Do your job, or else you might have some trouble with the king. All right. There. Oh, no, we still got some. Sam, good job. That's a little better fight. There's one hurt. Oh, good, good, good. Okay, now turn around. Face the audience here. How are we doing here, Sam? Does that make you feel good? Does that seem fair to you? Gee whiz. That doesn't seem fair at all, does it? Okay? This is my private property, and they came and took it. But guess what? In a tyranny, in a dictatorship, what's the rule?
Might is right.
Might is right. And so that's totally legal. That's totally fair. So Sam's left thinking, wait a second, that was mine, and now it's taken from me. Now, this is kind of a funny little analogy, right? We were laughing about it, and Sam was smiling, and Zach and Ben were ripping, oh, ha, ha, no big deal. But guess what? In the real world, do you know what happens in a tyranny? If you don't give them their starburst when they tell you to, but the king says, give me your starburst, and you don't, do you know what they do in the real world? They kill you. That's not something fun to talk about. It's not something fun to talk about at all, but that's the truth of it. So you're blessed to live in America, because in America, how many of you are worried about the government coming and killing you and taking your things? You aren't, right? Well, Ben, that's good to be worried about that. Don't worry, though. We're good. The government's not going to do that here in America. We're a republic. We have a rule of law that says that can't happen. Okay? I'm going to ask out of you, the rest of you, who here is our artist in the group? Who's an artist? Who likes to draw? Emma, you want to come up here? Okay, will you please give her the red marker? And Emma, I want you to use this whole space and just do the outline of the United States of America, what it looks like in general. You know what I mean? All right, how's that for America? Thank you, Emma. You can take a seat. Who's our geography champion here? I heard Carter won a geography. Carter, come on up here. Our geography bee champion of last year, the reigning champion. Give him the blue marker, please, Ben. Carter, draw for me the Mississippi River. What in the world does the 20th century mean? That's a certain amount of years. How many years is that? How long is a century? 100 years. 100 years is a century. So in the 20th century, that's from what year to what year? Do you know? Anybody know? I'll give you a hint. How's that? It's from 1900 to what? Remember, it's 100 years? To 2000, okay? Or, well, let's do it this way, 1999. From 1900 to 1999, I want to have some guesses from you guys. How many people who were living under tyranny and government were killed by their own government? Kate, what do you think?
500.
500? A little bit more than that. Emma?
1,000.
1,000? Tons more. We're talking millions. Drake?
3 million.
3 million. Way more.
5 million.
Way more. Adelaide?
12 million.
12 million. Way more. 10 times as much.
150 million.
150 million. Around there. Around 150 million people were killed by their own government from 1900 to 1999. Does that just blow your mind? That's crazy. What does 150 million mean? We don't even really know what does 150 million mean. Do you know? Who knows? I'll tell you what 150 million is. Carter, draw for me in general. Where's Houston? Just put a little dot where Houston, Texas is. What about Seattle? LA, San Francisco, Salt Lake, Denver, Kansas City, Star Valley, Wyoming, where we live. All those cities, all of them. All of the cities west of the Mississippi River. Do you know how many people right now currently live west of the Mississippi River? Around 150 million. That's how many people have been killed by their own government. Not in wars. We're not talking about war. We're talking about just being killed because they say, I want your Starburst, and they say, I'm not going to give it to you. They kill them. Did you know that? How does that make you feel? Sad? I'd say so, huh, Liz? Yeah, way sad. That's horrible. On the other side of the coin, though, how does that make you feel that you live in America where that isn't going to happen to you? Fortunate, huh? You should feel really grateful. Okay? So it's interesting. Thanks for your participation here. Zach, if you want to put that down, Carter, you can go sit down. I'll take that thing from you. And Zach, you stay here, though. We still need our henchman or our king because we're going to keep talking about some things. Now, let's give him back his stuff. Give his property back to him. Take a stand over here, would you? All right. So we turned our property back over to its rightful owner, right, Sam? You happy with that? Give me a smile. All right, so he's got his hands full of his property, okay? Now, we talked a little bit about we're a republic, but how many of you heard that we're a democracy? Have you heard that word before? How many have heard that? Yeah, we've heard that all the time. We hear that on TV, we hear that from public servants, that, oh, we're a democracy. Well, what is a democracy? Let's talk about that. We're going to use this example to teach you something. Here's the deal. In a democracy, the rule is the rule of the majority. The rule of the majority. So whatever the majority wants is lawful, it's right, it's what rules. Okay? So we got 4 guys here, and we're going to take a vote, because democracy, we vote in a democracy, right? We're going to take a vote. Now, who votes? Remember, you guys like Starburst, and you're henchmen, you're king, okay? So don't get kind, don't get soft on me here, okay? Who votes that Sam gets, out of you 4, who votes that Sam gets the Starburst? Sam does. Good job, Sam. Okay, now, who votes out of you 4 that Sam has to give those away to you guys? Ah, okay. All right, so what happens in a democracy? What rules? Majority rules. 3 to 1, that's a good majority. Sam, give your stuff up. Wow, what an obedient little guy. Okay? Ben wants to make sure he gets his pink star. All right. Okay, so, yeah, King, way to go. Make those guys hold on to it for you. Okay, so what happened here? Look at what happened, okay, in a democracy. What was the result?
Candy.
Is it the same as a dictatorship?
Yeah.
It was the exact same, right? He doesn't have any property, and they have it, right? But the process, what was different with the process?
It's nice.
They voted about it. It was kinder, it was peaceful, right? But don't be confused. It was the exact same process. His stuff was taken from him, not by force in a dictatorship, not because of might is right, but by a vote in a democracy where the majority rules. How does Sam feel? Do you feel a lot better about that? You still don't have your stuff, right? It's still the same result. So guess what? We're not a democracy. A democracy says rule majority. And what they did, they just took that from them, they stole it from them, they stole it by vote. Whether you steal it by vote or by force, it's still wrong. It's still stealing, okay? Go ahead and take a seat now. You can take those back with you. We'll share those at the end, okay? Here, give Sam one just to placate him here. All right. Okay, thanks, guys. Okay. Excellent. So did you learn something there? Are we a democracy? No. What are we? A republic, and we're blessed to be a republic. That's what keeps us free. Okay? All right, I want you to complete a sentence for me. You ready? Okay, it's wrong to steal. Why? Because it's against the law. Remember the rule of law? A republic? It's against the law to steal. Now complete another sentence for me, because the question is, okay, we say it's wrong to steal. Well, why? Who says it's wrong to steal? Complete this sentence. Thou shalt not steal. Where does that come from? From the 10 Commandments, doesn't it? Now, it's interesting. That brings us to the next part of the pledge, remember? And to the republic for which it stands.
One nation.
Under God. One nation under God. Now, here's what happened, okay? As the founders said, we have a chance unlike any other. We don't have a general. We don't have a king. We have an opportunity to set up a country that's going to preserve freedom for our people. And what did? They said, well, let's turn to the 10 Commandments. Let's create a government based on the truths of the 10 Commandments, based on God's laws. Okay? And so that's the historical fact of how they created our government, is for that purpose. All right? Okay, another word the founders used when we're talking about God's law, in the Declaration of Independence, they talked about the laws of nature and of nature's God. Okay? There's some things that happen. There's some things that are just how they are. They're obvious. They also call them self-evident truths, okay? Laws of nature and nature's God. As an example, who here likes to do track? Anyone want to be a high jumper? Eliza, you haven't come up here. Come up here for a second. We're going to talk about natural laws, because our republic, our rule of law, is built on what types of laws? God's laws, or natural laws. Okay, so Eliza here, she's going to be a high jumper when she grows up. Does that sound good? You know what high jumpers do? They run, they jump over that bar. Okay, and Eliza says, I've been training, and I am sick and tired of gravity. Gravity is really slowing me down. I can make a lot more progress if gravity wasn't there. So she says, done. I'm tired of gravity. It's getting in my way. So she gets revved up. You ready? And she's going to jump off this cliff and say, I defy gravity. Ready? Set, go. She jumps and I defy gravity. But
Doesn't matter.
what happens?
I fall.
You fall, right? It doesn't matter if you defy gravity. A natural law says an object is going to fall. If you try to jump and say I defy it, you fall. Because it's some natural laws. Okay, thanks for that example. What the founder said is there are natural laws. There are laws of nature and of nature's God upon which we are going to found this country. And that's how they put the laws together to protect us. Does it make sense? Is it obvious that if something is Sam's, you shouldn't take it? Is that true? Pretty simple stuff, right? It's not complex. It's really simple. And so we're going to create laws that disallow and forbid people to take things from other people. Okay? The difference of that and other governments in the world is they say, no, we're going to make laws that allow the government to take stuff from some people. That's not good, is it? Okay? Okay, now these laws that we have, would it be fair if they only applied to redheads? Zach, would that be fair?
Oh, wait.
No. Or girls, or only boys? No. So that wouldn't be fair, right? It should apply to all. Okay, so let's go back to the pledge. One nation, under God.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All people, right? Okay, that's how we end the pledge. Because those laws, they need to apply to everyone. That's how we're safe. That's how our freedoms are protected. Okay, so that's the end of the Pledge of Allegiance. The founders got together and said, this is what we want to do. We want to set up a system that protects people. It gives liberty and justice for all people. Okay, you know when they did this? It was in the summer of 1787, okay, in Philadelphia. Anyone been in Philadelphia before? No one's been there? Well, let me tell you about Philadelphia in the summer. It is hot. It's like 100 degrees, 100% humidity, and you're sweating all the time. Remember, what type of clothes did the founders wear back in the day? What type of material, do you know? Suits made out of cotton or wool, okay? So they had a cotton or wool shirt, wool jacket, wool coat, wool pants, wool stockings. And because they were doing some really important work, they actually closed all the windows and closed all the doors and sat in a room for 4.5 months. Whoa. That's a lot of work. Why did they do that? Why did they go through all that? Why did they spend all that time deliberating how to come up with what? What were they deliberating? What were they writing? The Constitution. Okay, our rule of law, our republic is the rule of law. Our law is the Constitution. Okay, and our Constitution is written based on these principles. All right? Wouldn't it be cool if one day Benjamin Franklin or George Washington or Thomas Jefferson came in and they said, look, here's why we did this for you. And they told us. Wouldn't it be cool if they came and told us, here's what we did? Okay? Well, they actually did. In what's called the preamble. Have you heard of the preamble before? There's a preamble of the Constitution. That's a big word, and all it means is introduction. The introduction to the Constitution, they say this. In order to secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Okay? What's posterity? Children, and their children's children, right? They did this for who? Us. That's why they did this. It's an awesome sacrifice that they consecrated their lives, their liberties, their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor to us so we could be free, so we could have liberty. Okay, so one more question for you guys. Do you know how long ago our Constitution is written? Do you know when it was written? 1787. Yeah, 1787. Our Constitution was written 227 years ago or something like that. Now here's the question. Can something written that long ago actually apply to today? Yeah, it can, huh? Because the Constitution wasn't written about, well, here's what people say. Well, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have airplanes back then. How in the world could the Constitution apply to today? Well, guess what? The Constitution wasn't written about cell phones and airplanes. The Constitution is written based on principles of freedom and on human nature, and those things don't change. Okay? The oldest document, governmental document, like the Constitution that's been written, the one that's the longest and oldest, guess which one that is? Our Constitution. Isn't that awesome? And there have been hundreds of other constitutions written to mimic ours because freedom works. And the Constitution is written based on principles that don't change. It doesn't matter where you live. Freedom is the same. Principles of freedom are the same. Human nature is the same. And so people have said, boy, that model works. The Constitution works. I want to mimic that and use that in our country. I think that's awesome. Does that make anyone excited? We have the oldest Constitution. It gives us freedom. It applies today. Isn't that awesome? Excellent. Okay, there you have it. That's the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay, we talked about all the different words, what they mean and why they matter. Are they important to you?
Yes.
Good. Are you going to think about the Pledge of Allegiance different next time you say it? I hope you will, okay? I want you to know I'm passionate about our country. I think it's important. It's a gift from God, and we need to honor it by the way we live our lives. Okay? Thanks, guys. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.